Hey everybody, this is Steve Krause. I'm coming at you today from my office, which may be the last time I'm in this office because they're going to be closing Prairie this spring, and we're going to be living in exile in one of the dorms during the spring term and the summer term. We'll see how that all works. And through next year, it's going to be like a 18-month process or something, or I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Um, After I get done recording this video, I have to start packing up my various things. My Scream doll, which this guy here hasn't been deflated in almost 12 years, and I think I might have to, or else I can just carry it out to the car. I don't know. So, anyway, I just want to give a couple of updates about stuff that's going on in the class right now. First off, if you look underneath here, I have listed there the information about the peer review groups, who's in what group, and a little bit about the sort of process for peer review. So what I want to do here, so read through that, and if you have questions about that, be sure to discuss that here. What I want to do here, though, right now is sort of run through a little bit about the process of how this is going to work for the rest of the term, hopefully so everybody knows kind of where we're at. Okay, so today is Thursday, April 8th. Peer review will start tomorrow on the 15th, and it'll go through to Wednesday, April 14th. Now, again, we can talk about it here. Let me also mention in the middle of all this is that tomorrow, Friday, on April 9th, we're going to have a completely optional but encouraged get together at the Corner Brewery, the Corner Brewery at 5 o'clock. And this will be a really good chance for people both to meet face-to-face with people in their peer review group, and also whatever questions you might have to ask of me about the process or about the final or anything else would be a good time to do that. And if you can't make it then, that's no big deal. I'm always happy to talk with people via the phone or an email, or we can get together in person next week or something like that. So anyways, back to the schedule. Peer review starts proper on this Friday, Saturday, over the weekend. You can sort out the details of that with your group. It wraps up no later than Wednesday, April 14th. Okay, Wednesday, April 14th next week. And keep in mind, next week, all you have to do is work on your final projects. And do the peer review type stuff, talk with each other about it. There may be a couple of questions I ask on the website here, just sort of general questions about the class that I'll pose, but basically it's all about the peer review and working on your projects. April 16th by 5 o'clock, you need to post your final project to your blog so that I can go look at it and start reading it. Now, the 5 o'clock deadline is important because I really will start reading them as early as I can on Friday, April 16th, to give you comments and feedback. Also, on April 16th, on that Friday, I will post for everyone to see and get started on the final for the class. And the basic format for the final for the class is there'll be one question that everybody has to answer, and then there'll be two questions in which there'll be selections to answer from. You'll see what I mean. The two of the things I mentioned about the final right now is that I set it up purposefully so that it's short. I don't want to read a ton of stuff at the end of the term. The goal of the final, in my mind, is you want to cite a whole bunch of different stuff that indicates that you've actually completed the reading, thought about the discussions, and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing about the final is that as long as you've participated in the discussions and the readings and everything else, and basically I think people have done that pretty well, and you can take the time to sort of put it together in a document to share with me, then you'll be fine. But it's an important part of the class, an important part of the process, and hopefully it'll be something that'll wrap everything up together. Okay, so again, final project is due April 16th. I will post the final on April 16th. Then what happens during finals week is I will go off and I will read your projects. For each of you, I'll probably record audio comments for your project, which means I'll literally do a talk aloud protocol. When I read through your essay, I'll read it, and I will make comments as I go, and then I will save these recordings, and I'll have I'll have a grade, but that'll be the gist of my comments. Each one of these recordings is about 25 to 45 minutes long, depending on how long your project is. incidentally, I mentioned this before when we were talking about the self article about making oral comments, recorded comments. This is a process that, in my experience, my graduate students have enjoyed because they like getting that kind of level of feedback on things, and it's something that my undergraduates tend to hate because they don't want that level of feedback on things. But understand that all I'm trying to do with the audio comments is to make it possible for me to give as much feedback as I possibly can to you on your final project, and it also simultaneously save myself time. So it's kind of a win-win situation for both of us. If the audio comments come back and you're not entirely pleased with those and you want to talk about some of the things, let me know. We can work that out. Okay. So anyways, I will start that process on April 16th where you start working on the final. During finals week, all you need to worry about for our purposes of this class is you need to finish the final for the class by 5 p.m. April 23rd, Michigan time, which is the end of time for the course. I'll get to that in a second. My promise to you is that I will read all your projects, give you comments, record them, email you those comments because they're gigantic files. They don't really transfer well to EMU Online. I'll email you those comments, and then post grades and stuff for that during the finals. When you turn in the final to me, I'll turn back the projects to you. The other thing that you need to do during finals week is you need to give one more email discussion with me about your participation for the second part of the class. Very, very straightforward, very easy to do, very similar to what we did before. And then by April 23rd, 5 p.m., that's the end of time for the class. That's when the final and anything else, if you owe me any other work, has to be turned in. So let me explain this like this, by the end of time. Here's how it works. On April 23rd at 5 p.m., everything's fine. Birds are singing, children are playing, the Pistons aren't going any further in the NBA championships. All is well, normal with the world. At 5:01 p.m. on April 23rd, time itself ceases to exist. We're sucked into a void, a nothingness, a black hole. Scary, isn't it? See, here's the deal. I'm dramatic like this because I just want to make sure that people understand that there is no late after April 23rd. In other words, if you were to say to me, Steve, is there any way that I could get you my final on April 24th? My response would be, what do you mean? There is no April 24th. The reason why that's so important is because, everything has to come to an end. And for us, the end of the class is indeed going to be April 23rd, 2010, 5 p.m. Michigan time. Okay? I think that outlines everything that I wanted to talk about here. Like I said, we'll be at the corner at 5 o'clock on Friday. I'm happy to meet with people during finals week or next week, the usual sorts of things. And, of course, I will see you online.